We're family for all your needs. SVP, SVP TV. We're family. We're gonna make you fall in love with SVP. We're gonna make you fall in love with SVP TV. SVP, SVP TV.
Looking for something new? We thought so. SVP is mixing things up, and digital TV, it'll never be the same.
SVP TV, we're family. We're gonna make you fall in love with SVP.
Download the SVP app today on Roku, Apple, and Fire TV. Watch us. You know why?
We're gonna make you fall in love with SVP TV.
Tune in to Talking Law with attorney Daryl O'Neill and the special guest host, attorney Jerome Pay. Live TV talk on your digital device on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question? Our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with attorney Daryl O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
Welcome to Talk Law with Daryl O'Neill. I'm your host. I got my main man with me, Jerome.
What's up, Daryl?
Man, and today I got a special guest with me. My man, Mike Williams.
And hello.
All right. So today our topic is going to be, we're going to talk about, and it's probably going to get a little widespread. We're really talking about citizens and citizens' rights. Mm-hmm. And then as it relates to crime. So that's kind of the broad spectrum of how we're going to talk about this.
Okay.
But anyway, so if you want to be watching this live, you can be looking at Facebook Live, YouTube Live, the SVP TV network app, Apple TV, Roku. Any of those apps will allow you to watch this live. And the good thing about watching it live, you can actually call in if you got any questions, concerns, or whatever you want to talk about. Shucks, if you want to get in on the debate, give us a call. We'll take all those calls. So let's give our shout outs, Jerome.
Alrighty.
So we got a shout out to California, man. My son living the California dream. So shout out to California. Shout out to Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to West Memphis, Arkansas. Shout out to Shelby County, Memphis. Shout out to Mississippi. And shout out to my mom in the great state of Missouri. All right now.
All right now.
So today we want to talk about, so Jerome started this thing off the other day. We were talking about crime. And Jerome said crime is an issue.
Oh, very much so.
So, I mean, and that ain't rocket science, right, Mike?
No, we live in this.
We live with crime.
Yeah.
But the question then becomes, does Tennessee have a stand your ground law? And that really, or what can you do in the event that things are happening to you? Now, Jerome, and I'm going to throw rocks at Jerome for a minute.
Cool. Bring it
Jerome
on.
say if you call a guy Pookie, you can shoot him. But if you call him James,
Right.
Yeah.
you humanize him, even though he's carjacking you and stealing and doing all this other stuff, then he is a different person.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because, we've seen it over and over again, even on the national level, when they call someone a terrorist or antagonist or something like that, something other than who they really are, it gives you the right to escalate your response. But if we call them like our children, like Junior or James or something like, we'll realize that many times we are actually dealing with minors. Now, of course, we're having a situation now where minors are committing adult acts, but the bottom line is that they still are minors, and minors don't make good decisions. You follow what I'm saying? They just don't make good decisions.
I hear you.
Okay. Now, so Mike, here's my thing. I said to Jerome the other day and everybody always talks about lawyers making laws. I said to Mike that I think the police department makes laws.
I think legislators make laws.
Well, let me tell you the
And that's
reason.
what I tried to tell him too the other
I
day.
think legislators make laws.
So let me tell you the reason why I said that, Mike. Because, I mean, you know, so the law says if there's a red stop sign, you must stop. You agree with that?
Yes.
But police officers will run that stop sign whether or not, even though they're not running lights and siren.
Okay.
Okay. If another police officer sees that
Hold
police
on.
officer.
But citizens also do that.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay. No, I just want to clarify that
Hold on.
because you're putting it into a realm that police officers make laws.
I'm going somewhere with that, though.
Laws are put in place. Now everybody's supposed to adhere to those laws.
Right.
However, when nobody's watching or when they think nobody's watching, a lot of people try to circumvent the law. But
Okay.
go ahead.
All right, let me ask this question. So, if there's a sign on the highway that says the speed limit is 55 miles an hour,
Yes.
and if somebody's traveling 56 miles an hour,
Yes.
are they speeding?
Yes.
Are they in violation of the law?
Yes.
Then why doesn't the police not stop and give them a ticket?
Because believe it or not, a lot of the laws of that nature are at the discretion of the officer.
Again,
Exactly.
there we go. Then, because I don't think there's nothing in the statute that says that.
Well,
Well-
where there's common sense prevails.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot stop everyone who's doing 56 miles an hour. So you have to have
You can't stop the
prosecutorial.
ones out there on 240 and 40 that are
65.
doing 65,
That-
70
that's
miles
exactly
an hour
right.
because
It's just,
you can't stop everybody.
It's just common sense that you would not stop everyone. And so, hence, that's the same thing we have when we have these control license checks or DUI checks. You have to stop every single one. Otherwise, that's going to be an illegal stop. You follow me?
But let me ask this though. The laws are for everybody. Would you agree with that?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So if a police officer was traveling at 70 miles an hour,
Yes.
there's no call.
Okay.
They just traveling 70 miles an hour,
Yep.
or they speed.
Yes.
Would you give them a ticket?
No.
Why not?
Well, because you want to put this into the perspective that, well, first of all, who's going to give them a ticket? Number one. Number one, because they are the police.
Well, the state trooper can give him a ticket.
Well, yeah, they could, but
Yeah.
you don't know whether an officer has transported somebody. You don't know if they're expediting to a call. Every time you see an officer expediting to a call, it's not necessarily blue lights and sirens.
Correct.
Because if you're trying to get to an alarm call or a hold-up call or something like that, you're actually not running under sirens and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't know what you're doing.
Correct.
They just look at you to say that you're moving expeditiously,
Right.
correct? However, in policy and procedure, it says that do not turn on because you're looking for the element of surprise.
Right, because I know and we were talking about this, if a person steals a car
Yep.
and they are traveling, the city of Memphis police department has a
No chase policy.
no chase policy. Now there are exceptions to that,
Yes.
but the reality of it is that's not what they're going to do, unless there is depending on the scenario.
Right.
Well,
right.
okay, you said that's not what they're going to do.
No,
What do you mean?
I'm just saying
They're
have
going to
no-
chase or they're not going to chase?
They're not going to chase.
Okay.
because they have a no chase policy.
Correct.
But it's under certain circumstances.
That's right.
Right.
And the reason why, and it makes sense to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but the reason why is even though you know that this person has done something inappropriate and is fleeing, you still got to worry about the protection of the citizens around.
That is correct.
And so what ends up happening is if you chase, you may engage or cause something to engage some citizens and cause more harm. So it's a common sense approach. It
Correct.
makes sense.
Correct.
But my position is the police department are supposed to enforce the laws.
Yes.
And if you're supposed to enforce the laws, you're supposed to know what they are.
Yes.
So the question I always ask, and because people ask me all the time, if somebody is carjacking me, what can I do?
Shoot them if you have a weapon.
And that's my
Shoot them dead.
I think that's not the correct response.
No. The law says if I fear for my life, if I can articulate,
That's not what he said.
Well,
Mike
he said
Williams.
if somebody was carjacking him.
But how can you be fearful like because somebody's carjacking you?
In order to
when they
be,
didn't
I
even
ain't talking
pay?
about stealing my car.
That's-
It's a difference. If you're carjacking me, you're taking my car under force.
Under force.
What
That's
type
the
of force?
difference.
What type of force? Are we talking about a
I
knife?
don't
Are we talking
care.
about
If
just-
you put me
just strong arming?
if you put me in fear for my life, you have a weapon. I ain't say stealing my car. I didn't say take my car. We talk about carjacking.
You know what, Mike Williams?
Okay. What-
You police
what?
officers are so strict about
No.
trying to say the right
Look,
thing in
no,
order to
no.
justify your actions.
We're having a conversation, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and it's not because I'm not the police. Okay, I'm a citizen, but I'm telling you, I'm sick of crime. I'm telling you, somebody tried to carjack me. Somebody tried to put me in fear for my life. We got a problem.
But you always got to make sure that that's the thing.
But I
that's
got
happening
that.
in your life.
But I
Just because you're being carjacked doesn't necessarily mean
Wait a
that
minute,
it's
wait a
a
minute.
situation where
No, no,
someone's trying to
how,
kill you.
how else am I being carjacked?
Yeah, hold on.
They're
You
just
trying to
taking your vehicle.
Man, you can't
What do you
take-
mean, take my
A
vehicle?
vehicle is not is property.
No,
You're
no,
not
hold on, hold on,
supposed
hold
to kill
on.
someone
Once
over
you pull a
property.
gun on me,
Well, you still adding more facts.
but you said carjacking.
Does that
When I
automatically
hear
mean take my
carjacking,
car? Yeah.
you're taking my car under force.
Under force.
You're not stealing my car.
And I don't care if you see, Mike, here's where I'm with you, and I take it one step further.
Okay.
This is mine.
Okay.
Okay. So if you invade in my thing, just like because I believe, and Jerome don't agree with me, but I believe that a car is an extension of your home.
And I think that there's some law to even
The
say
castle law.
The castle law.
It says that
There is some law that
Yes,
says
it's-
that, right?
Yeah. So if you come into my home,
which is my car,
without permission,
I can handle some business with you.
You put me in fear for my life.
Because I ain't invite you in there.
But there,
I don't care how you get in there. I don't care if you came in there with a knife.
Let me
Check it
ask
out.
you.
Let me
you
check it
just
out,
saying
Derek.
I'm getting in.
Let me
Check
ask
it
you
out.
this. What's your definition of carjacking
Well,
first?
first let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
Darryl, you notice that each time Mike Williams has responded, he said the appropriate thing. That I'm in fear of my life.
But that's the truth.
But you never said it. You just said carjacking.
Well,
but if you
I
add
don't know
enough
that-
facts, then it is appropriate. It is
Articulate.
appropriate.
Well,
to
hold
shoot
on,
someone.
but I think
to shoot
carjacking.
someone.
But that's what carjacking
Yeah,
is.
you
When you
taking
say
my car.
carjacking,
You
you
taking
didn't
my
say
car.
took my car without permission. You didn't say that.
Okay.
You didn't say
'Cause that ain't in it then.
You didn't say I left my car at the pump. I went in to pay for my gas, and they ran off with me. They stole my car.
Well, you
then.
gave it to him, but
But they stole
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know.
Look up carjacking and let's get the elements because in the law there's always elements to every crime. What's
Man,
the
I'm on
elements
here
of
with these
carjacking?
lawyers. Jesus Christ. I'm just
What's
a
the
lowly
elements?
little used to be police
Hold on,
Yeah,
But,
because each time he's been very careful. It's the same
Y'all gonna
thing.
make me
Darryl.
go to law
It's-
school.
It's the very same thing.
But
when
I
we
don't-
see a police officer who has arrested someone for DUI, we always know they're gonna say they had bloodshot eyes. They were unable to pass
But did
the
they?
field sobriety test.
Did they?
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
Okay.
But you can't support the arrest
Okay.
without including those things. That's what I'm saying
Well,
about carjacking. It's the
So,
same
but
thing.
that's the probable cause.
Exactly.
That's the probable cause for arrest. But I look at to see what the BAC level is, but I'll also look at if, in fact, they issued a field sobriety test and how they actually responded to the field sobriety test. So there are other elements other than what's on the affidavit.
But it's never going to be. It's never going to be missing. Those things are never going to be missing.
But that's because most of the time they're always present.
And see,
What's the definition?
I'm getting ready to go there.
Yeah.
Okay, because I like this, and I like,
and like I said, we all can agree to disagree, but here's what my understanding. And Mike hit it cleanly. If you're taking something from me by force, whether it be with gun, knife, whatever, that's carjacking.
Yep.
And here's what the statute says. TCA 3913-404. All these crimes have elements and they all rooted in the law. And they actually have annotation to tell you with the case law to give you some understanding.
Exactly.
So Tennessee says carjacking is the intentional or knowing taking of a motor vehicle from the possession of another. So that's what we're saying. You taking my car.
Right.
Right.
Okay. And I ain't asked you to. Okay. And then it says, by use of Jerome, deadly force. Okay. Okay. This jumped him now.
Okay.
Or force or intimidation.
Yes.
So if you intimidate me, see, and that's why I take it. If you try to get in my car
For whatever reason,
and I'm in it,
I am intimidated.
Yes.
Okay.
And you are using some force to get in my car.
Okay.
And then that means that I can do something.
Okay, so now move to the penalty phase.
Oh, it's a felony.
What's kind of Class C, Class B, Class E?
Class B.
Okay, so is a death penalty attached to carjacking?
That's not
Dog,
that's
come
but
on
that's,
now.
see
That-
now then you go with that lawyerese.
Oh,
you know.
hold on.
It makes sense.
No.
Because look,
I'm saying-
there's something in the law. Walter Bate is responsible for the fleeing felon.
The violent fleeing felon.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
ain't
You-
this
you
ain't the fleeing
cannot-
felon now.
you
ain't
cannot
fleeing coming in my
shoot
car.
a fleeing felon.
No, only a known violent fleeing
Right.
felon.
And,
Yes.
And the reason why you're doing it is because you're protecting a citizen somewhere down the line.
That is correct.
Or they're going to commit another crime.
Right.
But if a person is approaching you maybe in a threatening manner.
Mm-hmm.
We're okay with that. Because I'll take you there later on. That's the self-defense. But
Right.
but that, we're not there yet. Because if you approach me in a threatening manner, you have not invaded into my car.
Do you know that most
That's the
individuals?
difference.
Okay.
If you got your hand on my door
Yes.
and you trying to beat the window.
See, now you keep don't add no facts. Don't
But-
add these facts. Because if you add the facts, then I have to agree with
So
you.
what?
I have to
So what
agree
do you
with
mean
you.
adding facts? So what are you talking about carjacking?
What-
Then there has to be elements of carjacking.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not so clear.
It's
Like,
clear to me.
look,
It's clear as mud.
Not mud, right?
It's clear to me.
When Attorney Dale O'Neill said, "What would you do if you catch?" You said, "I'll shoot him dead." That was your first response.
Yes, I see it.
But if you're not careful about how you choose to use deadly force,
Well,
because look, in the academy, they
if
tell
I,
you,
if I am not
shoot
in
and don't
fear,
shoot, right?
if I am not in fear for my life, I won't shoot somebody.
But you said-
I won't shoot somebody if I walk out on my porch and they're stealing my car. I won't shoot them.
Now, see, Darrell O'Neill says that you still can
No,
shoot
no, no.
them.
Just wait a couple of months because they're about to enact legislation that says you can protect your property because there are individuals up in Nashville right now that are pushing a law through the legislation
But it
that
ain't-
says
but it ain't the law
hold on,
now.
Hold on,
It's
no,
not
no.
the law now.
I disagree with that. I think it is the law now. It's not as clear as it need to be.
Okay.
Because the law says that I can protect. Even the self-defense statute says I can protect my property.
Not with deadly
you
force.
better not shoot somebody
Not with
around
deadly
here.
force. See, and that's what I kept trying to tell
better not
O'Neill.
shoot somebody around here. I'm telling you.
O'Neill says you can stand in the doorway and blast away.
Hold on.
Well, he didn't actually say that, but you said that they're still in your car on the outside, you can shoot them. I'm
I
saying
think-
you can't do that
Well,
because
okay.
you cannot shoot someone over property theft.
Well,
It's clear. It's clear. You cannot.
Okay, so here-
you cannot use
see,
you
here-
cannot use deadly force to protect property.
Period.
Okay, so
The
here
end.
you go.
The end.
Nah, y'all both wrong. Okay, here's
Okay.
what.
No, you talking about? Go on, break out your little self-defense law.
See, y'all know I've been waiting.
Break out your self-defense law. Show me the property part.
Okay, so here's what it says. It says, and I'm reading 39:11, 6:11.
Okay.
Any person is justified in threatening or using force against another when the person reasonably believes that the force is immediately necessary to protect against another's use or attempted use of unlawful force. Okay. So then it goes on.
With you there.
Yeah. So a person has no duty to retreat before another person threatens them or uses force. Okay. Let me give you the proper. Let me get down a little deeper. Okay. So then it says self, family, a member of a person's household, persons within the person's household. Then it has a protective zone. Houses, apartments, motel rooms, recreational vehicles, boats, standalone garages, surrounding curtilage. a motorized or unmotorized vehicle. Okay, so
That's just saying that if you are in those,
Yes.
if you are occupying those, that's not saying Attorney Daryl O'Neill,
hold on a second. Wait a
someone
minute.
who passed the Tennessee bar, that you can actually
Hold on.
protect those entities. Because if somebody breaking in your house and you ain't in your house, you can't. shoot
Wait,
them.
no. I'm not saying that now.
Well,
You ain't in there.
But that's property.
That's right.
but that's a
But
difference.
that's saying that if you are in those
I'm in
areas,
those areas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
what
someone
I'm saying,
invades
hold on
those
a second.
areas.
Yeah.
I'm in those areas.
Okay.
So if I'm in my house,
you're not protecting the areas though.
well, it's curtilage.
No, you're not protecting the areas.
It's curtilage.
It already gave you in the first part to protect individuals,
and
to protect
anytime
people,
you gotta
to
go
protect
down that
family
far in a
members, to
statute to
protect.
try to find-
Man, you already know.
Look, he
Hey.
done written out 5 different
Man,
paragraphs
well,
trying to
hey,
find a way.
That's deep.
Hey, so look.
Can't
All right.
do it. Don't do it. I done seen too many people get,
Well,
get,
I'm
get,
telling
get
you.
prosecuted for it.
Yeah.
Well, I've and it's funny you say that because I know of something recent where a person didn't get prosecuted for it.
Well, remember,
circumstances.
remember-
Give me the circumstances,
remember, it's
and I'll tell you why.
prosecutorial
No, somebody was
discretion.
trying to break in their car. They weren't in the car, but somebody was breaking in their car, and they shot out and killed that person.
Well, you know, the prosecutor can determine whether they're
I've
going
seen
to
that.
prosecute
Did
somebody.
the individual have a weapon on him?
The one that they ended up breaking in the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not certain.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not certain about that.
Okay.
But the person was trying to break in their car, and they were not in the car.
Okay.
They were in an apartment complex, and then they shot down and killed that person.
Okay.
And then he get prosecuted.
They didn't get prosecuted.
That's probably going to be a federal lawsuit on there. That's a civil rights
Nah,
violation.
this happened-
probably
this
be,
happened a
too.
couple years ago.
That's because the people, many times there, it's just like we see all the time. When you walk into a place and they say we're not responsible for property left on the on this site, that's a lie. They are responsible for it, but most people won't pursue it. The same thing here. If someone was shot, the person who was killed doing property damage, that's a clear violation of the statute. Even though the prosecutor did not prosecute them, which they have prosecutorial discretion, there's still a civil rights violation.
I would like to know if that individual had a weapon on them, because then you can twist it a little bit.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You might have some room
Yeah,
there.
and I don't know the answer to that question.
Or
I
the person
don't-
had violent tendencies.
You wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
You can't know that from afar.
Yeah.
You can't know that from afar. See, because that's what. See, and don't get this wrong, because that's what happens when I filed civil rights lawsuits. When the person started trying to bring in about these person's past,
Right.
their
Yeah,
history,
many times you
their
can stop that.
Because you didn't know that at
You
the
ain't
time.
know that at the time, so let's
Right.
not play that game.
Right.
So
Right.
that's not. But the problem that I understand is, and I like what Mike said earlier.
Why you like what Mike said and not what I said?
Because see,
Because
see what
See,
you
they
do.
playing favoritism.
Well, here's what you'll
I'm just
do,
kidding.
Mike.
I'm just
No.
kidding.
Here's what you'll do, Jerome.
just kidding.
And here's what you'll do.
I'm just kidding.
And Mike heard it already. He ain't been here long. He heard it. Just because the person is a minor, just because they got this, they got
man.
frontal brain lobe that they don't have sense God gag with goat. I'm supposed to feel some kind of way.
I'm supposed to let them kill
Aren't
me.
I'm supposed to let them.
But-
Dude, they got 12, 13, 14. Shucks, there was a 6-year-old in
question.
North Carolina
That shot at the teacher.
that shot a teacher.
There's no question. There's no
Yeah,
question.
And I'm quite sure he didn't know what he was doing.
It's no question.
But then he may have known what he was doing.
Yeah.
You never know.
But
you know what I'm
he
saying?
knew enough to bring a
Gun to school. He mad.
and figure out how to pull the point it at who
Wait
they
a minute. But how about the 11-year-old that they published in the paper? He carjacked with a weapon. They let him out in 2-3 days. Then he went right back out, carjacked again. This all happened between December and January of, December 2022, January 2023.
And he had an ankle monitor on too then at the time.
Well,
He committed like 9 offenses or 18 offenses in less than 2 months.
Yeah.
And all of them were felonies.
Yeah.
All of them. So what happens when that guy, that 11-year-old,
Right.
11-year-old, because I don't know how big he is, but this 11-year-old walk up on Mike Williams, right, with a gun, talking about taking my car. I got my wife and my daughter with me.
See?
Now what am I
Don't add
supposed
no
to
more
do,
facts.
Jerome?
Don't add no more facts, Mike.
I'm
You
not
just
adding
add-
facts.
You just added your wife and daughter.
I'm just telling you.
alone.
No,
Just you alone.
I'm telling you
You
about
alone.
life. Me and my wife and my daughter are together most of the time.
That's different.
What do you mean different?
I mean, I can understand. maybe
So it's
being a
okay to
more-
kill me if I'm by myself, Jerome.
It's so cute.
But don't kill me with my wife and my daughter with me. That's what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying, what I am simply saying is that we know that children, that's a child.
Okay. He out here carjacking people with guns.
We have that problem because I believe it's because of the rap music.
I don't
and
care
all
what the
those
problem
other things.
is. I don't care
But
what
I thought we were
happened.
trying to get some
I'm talking about
solutions.
this
I thought we
situation.
were going to talk about solutions tonight.
Well, we can
somehow.
talk.
Okay, all right.
Wherever you want to go, I'll go.
But we got before we can even get to solution.
Okay.
We gotta agree that problem is substantial.
That is a
No
substantial
question.
problem.
No question.
Okay, and we
all
gotta
agree on
agree.
that.
But hold on, but we gotta agree that it's a substantial problem, and that the solution is not maybe as easy as you think.
It's not easy. It's not going to be easy.
Of course not. It's not easy. Otherwise, we would have done it.
And it has
But-
to be multifaceted.
But,
Yeah.
but you
There's
know,
no single approach.
that was the difference, I believe, in the juvenile court judges race this time around. We wanted to try something different other than charging them as adults. Shelby County was charging more young people as adults than any other county in the state.
But
Maybe because they were
but
doing
you got
more
more you got more crime
Yeah.
in Shelby
There's no
County than
question-
any
there's no
other
question about that.
county in the state.
There's no question about that. But there has to be another way. And so we were tired of the way that things were going. That's why we elected a new judge to try and bring some changes. In other words, bring some humanity to these charges
Lord
of young people.
Jesus.
And then we need to have a facility to handle these young people rather than putting them in a jail population. Because we know that creates even worse criminals
Well,
when they go
okay,
out there
so-
and learn the ropes.
So let me tell you. Let me give you a fact pattern here, and this is kind of sad. 14-year-old boy steals a car. He's riding just out of control, and the police, for whatever reason, he crosses the bridge as he's in from Arkansas into Memphis.
Okay.
He gets into Memphis. He hits my client's car.
Mm-hmm.
Tears my client's car up.
Mm-hmm.
His car runs into a ditch. The police arrest him. Okay, kid's from Memphis. Police arrest him. Now, of course, I got to sue now because the insurance company don't want to pay.
Right.
Because it's carjacking and all this other stuff, right? So the insurance company don't want to pay. So I sue. Can't sue the kid. Guess who I got to sue?
The parents.
I got to name his mom.
Yeah. the
So
parents.
of course I name his mother, sue the kid, sue the mother. When I sue the mother, she calls me. And she calls me.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I said, ma'am, I don't really want you. And she says, my son don't have any money. I said, ma'am, I'm just trying to get the insurance company.
Yeah.
And she says, my son won't listen.
Mm.
I mean, I can't, he won't do, he just out of control.
Yep.
3 weeks later, this kid tries to carjack a guy at a grocery at a store. The guy pulls out his gun, shoots that kid, kills him, and shoots his friend in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Now this all happened in Memphis.
Yeah.
It happened in Memphis.
Yes.
First problem I got is why is this kid out?
Yep.
Why is this kid out? Because Jerome, in Jerome's world, now don't get mad at me, Jerome,
No.
but in Jerome's world, he's a minor. He's 14 years old. We need to look at the frontal lobe that ain't developed, and he's making bad decisions. And we need to consider that when we make a judicial decision.
Ooh, wow.
But if we would have, if he would have been where he was supposed to be, he would possibly be alive right now.
Yes.
Okay.
So, where do we go here?
Well, there are, I've made that argument many times for clients that, Your Honor, he's a good person. He just happened to be in a bad.
He's not. Don't keep going,
It just happened to be in a bad situation, and he deserves an opportunity to prove to the court that they can do better.
So let him
They can
out.
Be productive.
Let him out.
I mean, that's the argument we have to make.
Why you
Defense
got- well,
lawyers,
I-
we have to make that argument for.
Okay.
We're required to do it.
As a
You can't-
defense
you
as
just-
a defense
right,
attorney.
so you just can't go in and say throw him under the deck gun bus. You can't do that.
Well,
but
this is a
but
bond
also,
issue, though.
Think
Yeah.
about the one who did get the break and turns out to be a scientist, turns out to be a doctor, who turns out to be a lawyer.
It's a phone.
You're looking at a lawyer now who had a troubled history as a child.
Right,
youth.
right.
Did you, Mike?
No, I did not.
You never got in trouble.
No, I did not.
I was a bad kid, man.
I did not.
Okay, now tell us how good you were. You never stole anything.
See, here you go. You want to?
I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking.
Everybody didn't grow up with a troubled past.
I'm just asking a question.
Look,
You never took anything that didn't belong to you.
I stole.
You never missed-
I stole a bag of potato chips when I was probably about 5 and got spanked for it, and I never stole.
And never stole anything else
else.
again.
No.
Okay. All right. So, all right. But
So-
many of us.
And I didn't know I was stealing. Then me and my aunt walked into a store, and I picked a bag of chips up off the thing, but I didn't know what stealing was, so we walked out.
Okay, that's fine.
And I got killed for it.
Most young people will have some indiscretions that they're not proud of later on down the road.
I've got indiscretions. Indiscretions I ain't proud of.
So
That's
Mike,
what I'm saying.
so Mike, this came off of your Facebook page.
Yeah.
So in the state of Tennessee, I was told a garage is not a part of the house, and you can't shoot anyone. But the state of Mississippi, you can shoot in your garage.
That came off my page?
Yeah, somebody off of your Facebook.
Oh, somebody sent it on my page?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't agree with this person. He said that a garage is not a part of your house in the state of Tennessee.
Okay.
I think that it's currently.
Well,
You just said it
we
was.
call it
Yeah,
we
it's
call it a
correct.
habitation there, so it's not a habitation. So I agree with him that it's not a part of the house, unless someone
Wait a
has
minute. Are you
expanded
saying
it.
if they still in your car?
No, he's saying that if you break into that portion of
I
No, no, no.
a garage,
It does not matter
Yeah.
if you break into. I'm a firm believer. If I'm in my garage working,
there you go again, man.
I gotta be there, Jerome. I gotta be there.
If you change the facts, then you got a different outcome.
I'm saying I have
He
to
didn't
be
say
there.
anything
No, but
about
he-
being
what
in
he
that.
saying? What he
said
saying?
No, but
the
he-
garage was not a
What is
part
it? What is
of
it?
the house.
What is the person saying?
Yeah, but he said no, he's saying that, but I think you could infer though, Jerome, because he's saying that he was told that the garage is not a part of his house, and I think he's wrong. I think the garage is a part of your house.
Unless it's a living quarters.
No, it's not.
Look,
man.
in accordance with the TCA that you read, it was.
It is. Look,
That's what the TCA
yeah,
said.
a garage. Okay,
Garage, boat, house.
your boat, your house, your car, unmotorized, motorized.
Yeah.
it is a part of your house. If you are there,
Yeah.
now, and somebody comes in and you
Yes.
interfere. Now, I'm not saying
The question
that.
that they come in on you, yeah, that's a different thing.
I'm not saying.
But you gotta be there.
You gotta be
That's
there.
what
If
I'm saying.
I'm there, if
Right.
I'm there, it's a part. So caller. I disagree. I think that whoever told you that clearly didn't know the TCA.
And who was that anyway?
It was
Who was it? Who?
Kevin Phipps.
Oh, Kevin. What's up, G5G?
No, Kevin, that's not right, man. That's just not right.
Yeah. Well, okay, it really does not matter if where you are. If someone puts you in fear of losing your life or bodily harm using excessive force, you have the right to protect yourself. Because he was going to go into the self-defense law that we have not touched on yet.
Yeah.
And the thing about it too, Bro Williams, you said using excessive, so you're right. But your response is supposed to be calculated to directly respond to
man, that's
the pressure that you receive.
No, that's not true.
Look,
That's not true.
look.
I can go a step above where you put me.
But
You
see,
can escalate it.
Didn't you hear him say that you don't have to
retreat.
You don't have to retreat.
No, that's true. You don't,
Yeah.
I don't have to retreat.
Yeah.
Well, that's just standing your ground then. Isn't it?
that's my point. But the difference. See, so the way Tennessee law works is, I don't have to retreat, but I can do whatever is necessary to make myself comfortable.
To repel your.
No. I didn't say repel.
Don't repel.
I didn't say repel. I said I can do whatever I want to make myself comfortable.
You got people on here saying, I hate to say it, but if a kid approached me with a gun,
But that's terrible. It's
no,
really
it ain't.
terrible.
No, it's
It
terrible that, do you know how many juveniles are out here committing violent crimes these days, Jerome? You know how many kids that are out here carrying guns?
I know there are a lot.
You know how many kids that are out
Yeah.
here with switches on these nines?
There's no question.
And they're not asking questions.
There's no question.
Yeah,
There's
no.
no question
And-
that it's happening.
Don't ask me to ask none.
Yeah, and so Kevin says again, Kevin says, can I defend myself if the person is breaking into my car and raises his shirt to show me a weapon?
Man, he did.
I
He
think
did,
absolutely.
Kevin.
I think Kevin.
did.
Again,
I don't think a police
I'm
officer-
shooting. I'm shooting.
I don't think
I'm
a police
shooting
officer
through
can
glass.
do that.
I'm not even rolling the window down, Kevin.
yeah. So, and Kevin, the way I understand, and we just talked about that.
I'm not even rolling the window
The way
down.
I understand the carjacking statute, because again, now we're going into two different neighborhoods.
Right.
Carjacking and then self-defense.
Right.
So if you carjacking me, you are trying to take my stuff by force. Force or intimidation. And it says deadly force or force or intimidation. So if you're trying to carjack me, I would assume that by you showing me the gun, you are trying to intimidate me.
Yeah.
So that's force or intimidation. So you can do whatever you need to do.
Well, and the other thing is too, Attorney O'Neill. I don't think I have to wait until you point the gun at me.
I don't either. I don't either. See, and here's what Jerome says, and I just absolutely disagree with this. Jerome says you can only use the whatever force is necessary
Yes.
to
Yes.
repel.
Yes.
First off, it don't say that in nowhere in the law. That's number one.
Right.
And number two, the everyday citizen does not have the skill to be that smooth. They just don't.
A lot of police don't have the skill to be that smooth.
You'd be able to do that under duress.
But I don't know if I shoot you in your right arm, you might flip the gun over to your left arm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shoot you in your leg, you still have the ability to utilize
And
your
that's-
gun. I don't
and-
know if, you never know. You got some people get shot 9 times and still be functional.
And that's why the courts are so important to ring in that type of conversation you just had. If I shoot him in the right, he might get the left. If I shoot him in his arm, he might use his feet.
Well,
if I shoot him there, he go.
I was just
because the
responding to
court
what
can
Daryl
ring
was saying.
Can ring you in because that's unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable. Here's what's unreasonable. It's unreasonable that you put me in a situation where I have to make that
It's no
decision.
question that things are
Hey,
out of control.
I got Crystal Rice said these kids are killing like crazy. So if a kid comes up on me trying to make something, and that's it. Then you got Chastity Hill saying, man, these kids are walking around with these switches and extended clips, strong arming folks. I'm trying to make it home to my kids and my family. So they saying they're
Whose
gonna
fault
do what
is
they
that,
got.
Mike?
Huh?
Daryl, it's the legislators' fault passing these
No, it is
crazy
not.
gun laws.
No, it is not.
And everybody
No, it
can
is not.
carry a
No,
gun
it is not, Jerome.
with no training
Excuse me.
whatsoever.
Attorney
no
Jerome.
insurance,
Well,
no anything.
well, see, here's
and
the-
then they tried to lower the age to 18.
Well,
I'm so
now-
glad that London Lamar said absolutely not.
Well, here's your issue,
It's
Jerome.
crazy.
And here's people that the legislators don't write the laws.
Come
for
on.
criminals.
Come on, Doc.
You know where I'm
Come
going.
on, Doc.
The reason why the legislators write these laws the way
Yes.
they are is because the good citizens will abide by them.
Yes.
Criminals, if you tell them a criminal can't, there's a statute that says if you're a felon, you can't carry a weapon.
But they carry
If
them.
you're under the age of 18, you can't carry a weapon.
But they carry them.
So, if that's the law, these people are not abiding by it. They write these laws to help the people that are abide by them to protect themselves.
Yes.
That's what the law is written for.
Yep.
Criminals are not going to abide by it.
So you're one of the Second Amendment people, right?
I really am.
And you
I
too,
really
Mike.
am.
Well, I'm saying the legislators are attempting to give law-abiding citizens the levity and
Yeah.
the ability
Yeah.
to be able to protect themselves, because we already know that there are individuals out there that are not playing by the rules.
Right.
None of the guns that they have are legal. They weren't legally acquired.
Because you can't.
well,
What's
why
something you
don't-
can't buy?
Why
Yeah.
don't we require them to have training like they did when you had to have a permit? With permits,
You can't get an 11-year-old to have training.
no, I'm not
A
talking about
14-year-old to
I'm
have
talking about-
training?
I'm talking about the average person that you're talking
But
about.
those are the
they're
ones
trying
that
to
are-
get levity to. They don't have training. They don't know shoot and no shoot, because when when you're in training, police people who are carrying weapons, there are scenarios that they create a situation for a peace officer to determine whether I shoot or don't shoot.
You know,
And you can actually fail the course by shooting when you shouldn't shoot. Right or wrong?
well, the dumbest thing.
Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
Yeah, well, yeah,
But why would you have a course if you just shoot all the time?
Well, hold on. But that's a different standard, Jerome.
Okay.
See, so police officers, the standard is, again, and I don't know why I'm answering this question. Mike, why is the rules different for police officers as far as training is concerned?
Because number one, they're held to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Number two, they're probably going to be put into the situation more frequently.
Right.
So therefore, there are guidelines put in place to teach them how to address those issues. So when you go to the academy, they have a course called excessive force, shoot, don't shoot scenarios, you know, because they want to make sure that you're not going to do that. Now, the normal citizen is not expected
No.
to be put into those
But
type of
why not?
situations.
Why not? You have a life or death.
Because you go to some places, they ain't killing and robbing and stealing. You can't go to the gas station and expect to be carjacked all the time. You know, you got people that are afraid to go to the gas station these days to pump gas.
I'm agreeing with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying, why not raise this to another
I want to get back
level?
to, well, but see, but even with all of that, Attorney Jerome, I want to get back to what you were initially trying to address. You said, what are the causes of this and how do we address it?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm ready to go there. Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah,
back
well,
there.
hold on. So, Mike, this again from your page.
Oh, Lord.
So, Evan, or Eric rather.
Eric Nelson, what's up?
Yeah, that's who it was, Eric
Yeah.
Nelson. If I come home and find someone in my house, can I use excessive force? Horrible wording. Can you use excessive force? No. Can you use whatever force you need to take
Exactly.
to get that mug out your house?
Exactly. He ain't got no business in your
Yeah,
house.
yeah. I don't know about no excessive
You know,
force.
they used to always say anyway, if you shoot him, drag him in the house.
I know we used to say that.
Drag him in the
We don't have
house.
to say that anymore.
No,
No.
no.
But, and so here's the thing. And Eric, this is for you. The self-defense statute says I don't have to retreat. So if I'm in my house and you're in my house, you're not supposed to be in my house.
Correct.
I don't have to run out of my house because you're in my house.
Correct.
True.
So because I can do whatever I need to do because I don't have to retreat in my house, I think you can do whatever you need to do to get that person out of your house.
That is correct.
Or to make yourself feel, here's my words, Jerome, I'm gonna be lawyer, to make yourself feel good about that person being in your house.
Yes. I agree.
Whatever you need to do to make yourself feel good about that person being in your house.
But see, my problem is that again, I'm arguing from the youth perspective. We cannot dehumanize all of these young people
Lies.
because
Lies. Lies.
because that's what makes them.
Lies.
Yeah.
Jerome? No.
That's what
I'm
makes,
saying.
that's what makes us comfortable
But see,
saying
but-
we're going to
no,
shoot a kid
no, no, no,
and
no, no,
kill
no.
a kid.
No.
I don't.
No.
He's not a kid when he's trying to take my car.
He's not a kid when he's trying
not
to take my
a kid when
life.
He's trying to kill me.
He
See, that's the
just
difference.
he just stepped into some grown man shoes.
Yeah.
You want to play big boy games.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that particular time, Jerome, I can't say, you know what? I know you're only 13. and I'm gonna hope that you're not gonna shoot me.
Right.
I'm gonna hope that you're not gonna shoot me. That ain't the time for that conversation.
Yeah.
That ain't the time. See, the time for that conversation was when he got caught 15 times prior to that.
Right.
Because he's escalated to
Right.
this.
Yeah.
Now we need to go back and talk about how did they get
How did they
there?
get to this point?
Well, that's the question. And so, and Mike, I asked Jerome this, you know, because Jerome used to be a police officer too, but I asked Jerome this.
What?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell about me.
But I asked
I'm just
Jerome,
kidding, Jerome.
No
I can
problem.
see it. I can
I'm
see
cool
it, bro.
with
I
that.
can see it.
I'm a soldier too.
Yeah, will beat walking help any of this?
No. We got a whole generation that is out there now, and we have young people that feel that they're not going to make it until tomorrow. So they're living on the wild side. You know, when you got this is a systemic problem when we talk about poverty, when we talk about denying access to
Absolutely.
economics, when we talk about
Absolutely.
you know, I tell people all the time, even when we talk about Shelby County government. You got young ladies down there that are trying to support their families.
Right.
You're paying them $15 an hour, $16 an hour.
It's not enough.
But they're responsible for millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying?
It's just not enough.
Now, back in the day when, and I don't want to make this a race thing, but back in the day when it was predominantly Caucasian, everybody knew the government had good benefits and good pay. You go down there now in some of these offices or some of these divisions, you may have 140 people, 160 people, 145 of them are females. A lot of those females are single, but they have bachelor's and master degrees, but they're making $30,000 a year. And we tell them we want them to be productive. So now most of them have second jobs. They're raising kids. A lot of these kids may be raising themselves. You understand what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, Jerome, when we were coming up, a lot of us were latchkey kids.
Right,
It was a
right.
different time, though.
Right, right.
You know, you didn't have all these computers. You didn't have this. You didn't have overexposure of sexual material. And then you were talking about the rap and all of that. All of this is playing into that.
Right.
So we done almost lost a whole generation. But what we have to do is start working on stoppage
Right.
and gearing in and keying in on the young generation that's coming up, trying to contain and to turn some of these young people around that are out here,
Right.
because a lot of them do want to turn around. But what do they have to turn around to?
That's interesting, and I agree, and that's where I wanted to get to, because our young people are angry.
They are.
About their situation.
They are.
They don't see a change. It's like you said. They don't see. If I see somebody else that has something, I'm going to get it too.
What I want it now.
But I want it right now.
Yeah, they're
But
the now generation.
They're the now,
but the issue is, how do we change the culture enough to show them that there is life beyond your situation?
I think we have to change some of the economic status of some of these young ladies, first of all, that are out here working hard. Because, see, they need to understand that if, in fact, you're going to go to college, you're going to do the things that people have told you to do to make you successful, to put you in place, then you have a chance, number one. Therefore, hopefully, they can focus more on raising their families. Because people that have something to lose normally try to conduct themselves in a
That's
proper
exactly
manner.
right.
But if you have nothing to lose,
Now, that's Mike. That's excellent. The problem is that black people in Memphis don't own anything.
but whose fault is that?
It's the government's fault.
Oh, Lord.
It's society's fault
Oh, Lord.
because we were shut out.
But then we go.
Look,
But let me tell you
let
this:
me
we got
say
so
my
many
thought.
black politicians that done sold their
It's
communities
no
out.
question about that. But let me say this to you: the situation is such that if the people had an opportunity to have legacy, that's what I was trying to get
Look,
to.
I came from
A
poverty.
lot of
Yeah, me
a
too,
lot of
man.
police officers who are police officers today, their dad was a police officer, their uncle was a police officer, was a fireman. You got a legacy of people who were able to move up, but we were denied that all the way up until the 60s, the 70s.
But
before
this
black people were
generation
able
they
to
have not been
anything.
denied that.
And
That's a different argument now.
We are part of the problem, Jerome.
Yeah.
We.
Who is
And
we?
that's what
Us?
Yeah.
We are part of the problem.
Black people.
No.
No, our generation. Our generation is part of the
Yeah, 'cause
problem.
childhood was rough.
Yep.
I mean, in contrary to you, I did a whole lot of bad stuff.
Well, but my childhood was still rough. We didn't have enough food.
No, yeah.
Sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
I just wasn't just out
Yeah,
there.
so
And I grew up in New Chicago.
yeah, so I did a whole lot
On
of bad
Weekly
stuff.
Street, Chelsea,
How are you,
Bellevue.
Jerome? How are you?
I'm 70, I'll be 71 this year.
Yeah.
So you was out there with the Andersons and the Currys?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Okay.
You know all of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So absolutely. And so I'm upset with the Ben F. Jones chapter of the National Bar Association as well.
Oh, wow.
Because
Throw them out there.
Because we don't have any plans in place when things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Here we're going on now almost 13, 14, 15 years of not having a black person on the Tennessee Supreme Court.
Mm.
Why not? There was just a recent opening. And
Because
and
you're in a predominantly Republican
Yeah,
state,
you gotta
brother.
change the governor.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to work within the confinements and the constraints of what it is, and you got to be realistic
Mike,
about
Mike,
what's
listen,
going
listen,
on.
Listen a minute.
Okay.
It's all based on revenue, tax revenue. So we should have been given a share of every single project that came about in the city of Memphis. We were denied it.
Hold on. Not to be racist or have racist overtones. You had a black mayor. You had a predominantly black city council.
Exactly.
You got a predominantly black
Exactly.
county commission.
Exactly.
You got a black mayor in the county.
Exactly.
So why?
They were afraid of being sued because
No, they ain't afraid of being sued. They done sold out, brother. They done sold out.
Designed
They
to
sold
share,
out.
Yeah.
to share in the
Yeah.
wealth. It comes under the scrutiny of being sued.
Yeah.
But this is what
Look,
Yeah, I know.
they created black millionaires in Atlanta with
Yeah.
the building
That's-
of the
that's what I told
airports.
Dar-
They
I just
created.
told Darren last
They've
week.
done this
I told-
everywhere.
Yeah.
But here in the city of Memphis, you still have a subdued element that controls everything in this
That's
city,
exactly
even
right.
the political process.
That's exactly right. I told Daryl the last show that Maynard Jackson showed us how to do it.
Yeah.
When Atlanta was traveling right alongside with Memphis, Maynard Jackson said, if you build it, you're going to share.
You know what runs me crazy? You got Steve Cohen as the congressman of the 9th Congressional District that was designed for African Americans so that they could have representation.
Right.
We are the transportation hub of the Midwest. FedEx headquarters, UPS, DHL, ground, air, rail, whatever,
Amazon,
right?
yeah.
How come we don't have Steve Cohen in order to bring revenue? We got, anyway, to bring revenue in, why didn't he suggest we do like most of the other cities, get federal funding to build a cargo airport, name it Fred Smith Airport, I don't care what you call it,
Okay.
because he's taken over our passenger airport.
Okay.
He did.
Creates money.
Yeah. Yeah.
They shut down our airport for the people and the citizens of this city for Fred Smith.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing but FedEx planes out there, but you can't get in and out. You got to drive to Little Rock or Nashville.
Because the tickets are so high.
But guess what? If we had proper representation,
No question about it.
Because
But this
we
is-
had Delta here.
yeah, we were a hub.
We had Delta here.
We were an
had
international
Delta,
airport.
But,
Hub.
we had two of them. Then we
Yep.
had Delta and was another major airline we had here, and we didn't do what we needed to do to sustain them.
But
Yeah.
what happened was
No. They did it on purpose. They did it on purpose. They got rid of a passenger hub so Fred Smith could have more airtime.
Delta pledged that they
Period.
were not going to suspend their routes in Memphis, and they did it anyway and didn't suffer any consequences behind it. This is what I suggested.
We
years
kicked
ago.
Delta out of here, bro.
Yeah, we did.
This is-
yeah,
this is
yeah.
what I
Kicked Delta
suggested
out.
And
years
Atlanta
ago.
gladly took them.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I suggested years ago, that revenue, Shelby County is the largest county in Tennessee.
Yes.
And it produces more revenue to Nashville than any other county.
Yes.
So I suggested that until we can get some representation for our taxation, we should have caravans going to Arkansas, Mississippi to make our purchases. Line up every like
Wait, hold on a second.
We had Black Mondays. We had Black Mondays
Yeah,
when I
but-
was-
but-
in order to get change.
Yeah, but
so
see, you
if
gotta
we take
give
the
it-
revenue out, they'll listen to us then.
Yeah, but here's the problem, bro.
Okay.
And that all sounds good, but you know, you can't get people together to
Hello.
just to freaking
We
say
gotta
good
stop
morning.
saying-
Hello?
we gotta stop
You know.
saying it. That's not true.
That is absolutely true.
Black people,
Yeah.
black people care for each other.
Nah, I'm not gonna let you go down there.
What world you live in?
You on that new stuff?
What world do you live in?
Do you
doing
not
that
watch tennis? Do you watch tennis?
I have.
So when you watch tennis, are you watching for Sloane Stephens? Are you watching for Coco? Are you watching for Stacey golf? Are you watching those because you want them to prevail?
No, that's-
Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
Joe Frazier,
Yeah.
because we are interested in our community. So we got to stop saying.
But the problem
that we don't
is,
stick together because we will.
it's becoming
If we
more
get a
so
leader.
of a social economic issue,
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you black, white, green, yellow, made of cheese. They don't care.
Who was they?
the power brokers in this city.
There's no such thing as a power broker.
That's lies.
When we take it,
Lies. There's historical wealth in this city,
Yeah.
and that's why you don't have a whole lot of major corporations
But we
coming
can
into
take
this
it-
city
but we can
because
take
they
it
want to
back.
maintain power.
That's what I'm saying.
And they know if they bring in some of those Fortune 500 companies, they gonna then have pull, and they won't have as much say so. Why you think? Even though we're the transportation hub, we should have so many headquarters here. It's pitiful.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're not gonna let them come in.
We right here.
Yeah.
We right here on Erica.
The Tulico Casino should have been here. It should have never gone to Tulico.
They didn't want
West
that.
Memphis
They don't
should
want
never
that.
built up the
They don't
casino.
want you to do
But
that.
That's what I'm saying. We take
want you to do that.
We take the power back by having strong leadership.
What do you mean take the power back? We're in power.
We're in power.
We're not in power.
We
We have the power to move City Hall right now.
But why-
If you're talking about black people.
But why,
exactly,
why are we not
exactly.
doing it?
Matter of fact,
Oh.
it's historic. Do you know you have eight black? I think it was eight black women on the county commission.
Yeah.
And the city council is also predominantly black. So we should be.
But
able
it's
to
been
do
like that for the
whatever-
longest, Jerome. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But we're not
Wait, hold
holding them
on.
accountable. We still around.
Oh, we voting them.
They leave the city council.
I mean, we vote them back in,
They
even
leave
though
the
they
city
ain't
council
confident, not doing what
and
they're
go to
supposed
the
to
county
do.
commission.
Yeah.
They leave the county commission and go to the city council. Then they leave there and they go to the trustee's office. They go to these other offices.
Oh, Lord.
It's because we're not holding them accountable.
Okay.
Our children need to know that there is an opportunity.
You know, I had
to
I had an
grow and learn.
issue. I was invited to a forum, and I'm not going to call the person's name. I'm just going to give you their position. They were the president of the school board, and now they're running for another office.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And I sit there the whole time. I was invited because they wanted law enforcement perspective.
Right.
So they called Mike Williams. Hey, come down. We want to talk to you. So I said, okay. And I didn't say a word. I just kind of sit in the corner and I look. And then the individual said, you haven't said anything. You know, what's going on? I said, well, first of all, we got to address an elephant in the room for me. Y'all let George Ray walk off because his wife gave up half of it in the divorce.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So now my tax dollars, see, because you're not a good steward of my tax dollars, we done paid him $485,000.
Right.
Plus, we gave him an additional year, which was $270,000 to train the incoming person. This man walked off with over $750,000.
And we paid $200,000 or $300,000 for the investigation.
Hold on. And then she gonna say, well, Michael, oh, I said she, I'm sorry. She
Oh,
gonna
we
say-
all know who it
She
is.
gonna say, Michael, we didn't want the students to be upset. I said, but what kind of message do you think you sent the students? That it's okay to do all of these things?
Yeah.
And you and we're gonna reward you?
Yeah.
But see, but I know what the backside is.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I need you back again, man. We got to get you back.
I ain't coming back no more.
We out of time.
I can't hang with you lawyers, man. Woo!
We still need to talk about some solutions.
I got to brush up on some stuff. Send me the subjects ahead of time.
There are a minute. But for one thing, why do we only offer $2,000 for a Crime Stoppers tip?
All right,
That's a whole nother
Yeah, we'll talk about that
barrel of
later.
worms.
Hey, y'all, thank you for watching the show. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself. You didn't give me enough calls now. But anyway, we'll see you back next week.